Hey y'all, hey, it's Patty with Giddy Things, and it's here. It is our color swatch video for the color that we are going to paint the studio. So, just a little backstory again. We moved to another room once we got a stair lift, and I could move upstairs. And now we are going to use the back bedroom, which wasn't really ever supposed to be a bedroom, to film the YouTube videos and also for me to have as an office as I work as a professor. So, as I have said in other videos, but if this is the first time you're watching, I want to reiterate I am going to ask my audience, my YouTube memberships, my friends, memberships, not memberships. I'm not going to do memberships. It's not going to cost anything. I don't foresee myself ever doing that because I don't want to. Not that I have a problem with anybody else doing it. It's just for me, the whole point of YouTube is you're watching stuff for free, right? And also, we kind of we want to stay friends, right, and not have it be a business transaction. So I digress as usual. I'm off the topic, so let me get back on it. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to talk about painting the studio. We're going to talk about some parameters for painting the studio because there are some things because of the space, which you'll see in a little bit with the video that I did earlier with the paint chips, how, we need to kind of pick out the color and what kind of color and whatnot. The colors are all very similar. We have narrowed it down to 10. I had tons, but some of them were just kind of out of the question. It is a smallish space. I think if I'm correct, it's about 10 by 12. So it's got a relatively low ceiling. The rest of our house, this is a 1929 salt box farmhouse. And so the rest of the house is fairly tall ceilings, right? That's not the case in the room that was built onto the back. It is about, I'm going to say maybe 7 feet. I'm 6 feet tall, and there's maybe a foot of clearance above my head. And maybe you'll get a sense of that. It's not a big room. It does have some natural light, but the natural light is a little bit different. There's French doors that go back out onto a little pad, right, where you can cook out and things like that. But those French doors provide light. They face north. They face north, ish, northeast-ish. So, oh no, I didn't get myself into the compass. I know I didn't. So eastish. For those windows, there are 2 windows. So there's the French doors and the 2 windows, and you'll probably see that in the stuff that I'm going to add. So we do need the color to be relatively light, and probably the lighter the better, but it's your choice. You tell me what you think is going to work, and the one that gets the most votes in the poll at the end of this video will be the one that we use. So again, fanning them out, there's a big difference. And I'm going to show them to you so many times because this phone camera is the camera that I have to use. I would like to get, and I'm going to put this up at the end of the video when I say ta-ta for now. I would like to have another camera to use, but I'm going to have to be monetized before I do that, probably to sort of make that worth the while. So, and pay for that with money that I might make off YouTube, which means I need to get, I think, at least 500 subscribers. 1,000 is ideal. Now, I'm not being ungrateful. I am happy and so grateful. And to be honest, gobsmacked, just completely flabbergasted in a good way that I have 117 people who are willing to come share their time with me on this channel and be my friend. That's a big, big deal to me. But if I can do about 9 times that much and get enough watch hours, I can be monetized. And then that will go probably primarily to 2 things: to maintaining some more production quality for the channel, right, to pumping that up a little bit, and also to maintaining our feral cat colony and the pets that we take in and nurse back to health and sometimes can't go outside. So that's what we'll primarily be using that for if we get monetized. But that's the whole point of saying that. And, you know, I'm cool with whatever happens. God will work it out. But I would like to have a specific camera. I'll mention that one at the end of, I've done a lot of research at the end of this video. And this is going to be kind of a long video because it's a big video for our community. We're deciding what color our studio is going to be, and I want you to be happy with it. So that having been said, we've got, and I'm just going to hold them up here. One or two, you're going to see them later in the video in all different kinds of scenarios. Not all different kinds. You see them in the room, and then you see them, I put them in here under the ring light to show you the colors, because as you probably know, color is a property of light. And so it's depending on the light that you get, and we get low light in that room. The overhead light is not very bright. I'm going to be using lamps in there, but at some point we may do a different overhead. So this is, in no particular order, Wisteria Snow, as it looks just in the ring light, right? It's much lighter than this on the wall, or much darker in there on the wall, lighter than this on the desk. And this is the color of it, just holding it up to the ring camera. And then this is Marshmallow, which has a little bit of a yellow white to it. And you'll see these again. And I'll have a list of them at the end, probably in alphabetical order, so it doesn't seem like there's a preference I'm pushing you towards. Then this is Blue Kiss. Right, that's Blue Kiss. And this is Rising Tide. So this blue is a little bit more of a blue white. And this is more, as you can see them side by side, of a true light blue. But it's sort of dark in the room. But, you know, hey, maybe that's what we need. This is 3 of them. That's Ice Cube. I think that's Mountain Air and Nebulous White. So that's them next to Rising Tide, I think. Yes, and that's here. This is the favorite of my artist, disembodied voice husband, right? Ice Blue, but he doesn't want you to feel pressured at all with that, because we narrowed these down from a large field, and we'd be comfortable with any of them. This is Snowbound, which we did use in our kitchen, and I ended up picking up again because I remembered that we used it in our kitchen. That is a white, but again, it's not a brilliant white. It's it does kind of look like snow. It's got a little bit of a blue to it, but also a little bit of a brown. And then that is Mais oui. Mais oui. I cannot say that. I can't just go, well, I'm going to do it. Mais oui. Mais oui, but of course. I do that again in the video. So that's it. And I know it's hard to see these, but I just wanted to show them to you one at a time. Now I'm going to roll that beautiful painting footage that we took earlier, and I'll come back to talk with you about some other things. And thank you so much for helping with this. I really mean it. This is not a gimmick. I'm not a very gimmicky person. I'm not a gimmicky person, to be honest. So if I didn't really want help, I would just paint it a color and paint it that color. But I want y'all to be a part of the decision too, and I want you to be the biggest part of the decision. So I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, y'all, this is going to be interesting with my phone. This looks pretty much, this is how they pretty much look on the wall. But when I get close to them, they do something different. So I may have to pause and adjust the lighting. I do want, there's a camera I really want that, no offense to our phone, because we love our phone, but just giving you a chance to look at these from a little bit of a distance before I identify colors associated with them. I know they all look really similar, but I'll talk to you more in the chatty portion about how we arrived at these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 choices, which is funny because one of our beautiful community members said that she had 10 paint pots, and so we didn't do that on purpose, but that's the way it worked out. So let me do them individually now. The one that I'm focusing on right now is Snowbound. We have that in our kitchen already. This one next to it is Marshmallow. Then this Gentle Violet. I don't really think it's doing the Gentle Violet justice. Let me see if I can change the setting a little bit. Okay, that's a little bit better for Gentle Violet. It's just a super soft kind of, not quite, it's violet. It's not quite plum. It's not quite lilac. It's just got that nice little, I don't know, it's a neutral edge. I was going to say a brown purple, but it's not. Then Wisteria Snow, which is bluer. I really like that one too. It's very pretty. Then Mais oui, but yes, but of course, is that color roughly. And it's a little bit between Gentle Violet really and Wisteria Snow as far as blue goes. It's maybe just a little bit purpler. Then Blue Kiss is very white, but it is a blue white. And so that might, the lighting in here is not very high. I'm going to probably change out the overhead light, so that'll make a difference. But right now, this is what we've got and might be what we have for a while. That's Rising Tide, which is a little bluer than Blue Kiss. Rising Tide. I know these are all like shades of gray, literally. Then we've got Ice Cube, which we really liked. It's got kind of a really cool, well, Ice Cube. Then Mountain Air, which is a little bluer. These are all shades of blue-gray. And Nebulous White, which kind of is a pretty dark white. It's an overcast look. So these are all the colors. Again, Snowbound, Marshmallow, Gentle Violet, Wisteria Snow, Mehui, I can't stop saying it like that, Blue Kiss, Rising Tide, and then Ice Cube, Mountain Air, and Nebulous White. What do you think? I mean, obviously I have a brilliant YouTube community friendship base, so I really do believe that y'all are super up to the challenge of choosing between these really similar shades. And again, more about why we didn't put more up here in just a little bit. I don't know, Disembodied Voice, have I given them enough time to look, do you think? They could pause, but I don't want it to be that much trouble. Okay, so Blue Kiss, May We, Wisteria Snow, Gentle Violet. I'm really liking that Gentle Violet. What about you, Disembodied Voice?
Yeah, I like the Ice Cube.
You like the Ice Cube the best? I like that one too.
The size of the room we have to.
Yeah, it's the size of the room.
Raise there to make it look bigger.
Yeah, that's true. We have to really kind of raise it to be lighter. So really, I guess, ideally, Snowbound, Marshmallow. I love the Gentle Violet, but I totally get what you're saying about that. So Ice Cube and Snowbound, what do y'all think? And then Rising Tide, Wisteria Snow, May We. Blue Kiss is also bright. So I guess we're kind of looking at the brightest options because there's lower light in here than there are in other parts of the house. So we'll discuss. Thank you. Okay, so I'm back at my desk in the front room, and I want to show you the colors in here too. So here's our choices again, and not in any particular order. Blue Kiss, which is a blue-white, very, very white. Mehui, so there's how they look next to each other. Y'all, I really eventually would like to get some new gear and let my phone be a phone. I actually know exactly the one I want. Maybe I'll show that to y'all from watching YouTube videos. So there's Wisteria Snow next to Mehui. Marshmallow has kind of a yellow white tint, and that's next to Wisteria Snow. Marshmallow and Snowbound next to each other. They're very similar. Snowbound's a little more of a true white, and this is pretty much how they look. I'm looking through the camera now on the phone. And then Snowbound is next to Rising Tide, which is kind of more of a blue, a light blue. Then Ice Cube up there is a really bright light blue. Mountain Air is a little bit more of a neutral, soft, light blue. Nebulous White is not very light. It's more like a gray cloud, since it's using nebulous, like a gray cloud sort of. And then Gentle Violet has a tiny, and you can see it on the phone, a tiny kiss of plum. Let's get it closer to the light, and then I'll take them all up closer to the light. So there's Gentle Violet, and this is in a blue light. I've got my ring light on, and this is in a blue light, so that's Gentle Violet. Then we'll come back to Blue Kiss. Sorry about my notes and stuff behind that. There's Blue Kiss. There's tons of stuff, a hair scoochie, insurance. May We. I'm cleaning out my drawer too. This is not the best time to show my desk. Wisteria Snow. And then Marshmallow. and then Snowbound, and then Rising Tide. You see the blue there. And then this is Ice Cube, Mountain Air, and Nebulous White. So there are those. And I think that's a good demonstration of the colors, right? In a couple of different kinds of light. And I'll just, for the sake of argument, let's take Snowbound and Ice Cube and put them next to each other. Y'all, sorry about this. I'll pause. You shouldn't have to be looking at all that. Look at the straw. Again, cleaning out my desk drawer. I apologize. So there's Ice Cube next to, what'd I say? Snowbound. There we go. There's Ice Cube next to Snowbound. Just to let you see how that looks. And then there's Blue Kiss next to Ice Cube. So Blue Kiss next to Ice Cube. So you can see, you know, the difference in tones there. Anyway, I know y'all are up to this because you're amazing. But that's Ice Cube and Blue Kiss. And there's Rising Tide and Blue Kiss. Last one, I promise. There is, ooh, if it'll focus. It's tired. Last one, I promise. It doesn't want to focus. Oh, there we go. There is Wisteria Snow next to Blue Kiss. So that's it. Those are the colors that we've chosen. And I wanted, again, to do what I said I would do and talk about the reason that we picked these out of all the ones that we had to choose from. I'm sure I showed you Gentle Violet in the light. So if I didn't, there it is. They will all come up as a little list. And I had a Built Bar, y'all, so I'm making sure because I can't really, let's see. Let me get that out of there. Okay, we're good. Sorry, I'm trying to remember to take my glasses off, but I'm back and forth from work and different things. So I really appreciate it. And here's a couple, I have a little anecdote I said I would share, and then a couple of other comments about the paint. I'll do the comments about the paint first. So the reason that we ended up staying in a color family, and I had asked y'all about color families in the past, and I got some really good feedback from that. I was so appreciative. And so I did stay within the sort of gray blue, a little bit of a violet with the Gentle Violet color family. And that was sort of something that people had suggested, so I did stay there. I knew we probably weren't going to go in the direction of yellow. It's already a bright yellow in there, and I've got this mango color behind me, which I really like for the warmth of the front room. We're in the living room where TV gets watched and all that kind of stuff happens right now in a corner of that room, but that room will belong to us. The Disembodied Voice will have a desk in there as well, and the Handy Helper may do some of his creative activities in there. So we're going to set it up with the lights that are needed and that sort of thing. But we did need to stay in that color family based on what everyone said and the research that came back to me from kind of how to go. And we do have, again, it is a small room, about 10 by 12. And it was 2 adults living in there was fun. It was fun. But that's that about the color. So that's why we chose those, and we narrowed that down from so many hundreds of colors, which leads me to the story I said I would tell. And I promised this in another video. When the Disembodied Voice and I were buying our first house as a married couple, we had lived in rental places, and we were buying our first house, and we wanted to get the most out of our money that we could. When we moved in, the Handy Helper was, I think, 18 months old, 16 to 18 months old when we moved in. But this was in Louisiana, and it was a lovely home in North Shreveport is where it was. It was in kind of it was sort of in the country, but it wasn't. And we had lots of good neighbors, lots of older people who were super, super helpful to us and with whom we formed wonderful friendships. But we bought this house, and I should tell more stories about this house because it's just cool in general. We bought this house for a man to whom it had been left in an estate because he was a friend of the person who'd lived there, and he had helped her. She didn't have any children, and she didn't have extended family, and so he had helped her when she needed to move to assisted living, and so she left him this home, but it had been rented, and it was in terrible condition. terrible condition. But when we went to look at it, we were trying to we knew we were going to renovate, and we kind of wanted a 1950s Sears home, which is what we ended up getting. Just like here, we kind of wanted a Depression era farmhouse, or just before the Depression era farmhouse. And we got that. So God is so good. But we got that Sears house. They're so well laid out, and they were all about efficiency. I'll give you more information about Sears houses moving forward because I'm super interested in them. I do some research on those just for my own enjoyment. We redid that house. It was so punkin'. It was so cute. And it was what we needed. It was fantastic. And so when we were doing that house, we had a general contractor working with us not because of our having a we would have done it alone otherwise, but we used a specific kind of loan. And sometimes I get the numbers mixed up, so I'll pop it up on the screen if I'm wrong when I say this. It was a 203K, I think. That might be wrong, and if it is, you'll see it on the screen here soon. FHA loan, and that's a kind of loan where you can wrap that loan product, you can wrap the renovation costs into the purchase price of a home. I don't know what the refinance version of that is called, but you can wrap that in. So we bought the house for $40,000. The general contractor, who was so helpful, and there's a couple of reasons. One of the reasons, he was just a super good guy. Clark was his name. And the other reason is that our dear close friends, Perry and Allison, helped us find this house because they knew the person who owned it, and we got to look at it that way. And it was so gross in there that almost all of us got stomach viruses. George was a baby, so my friend Allison stepped outside. George didn't come in the house at all. He was way away from the house. But the rest of us got stomach viruses. We had no idea how gross it was going to be. But anyway, people were living there. It was really... I won't go any further. I mean, I'm sure they were struggling, and that's no offense to them. But we, and this is many years ago, we got the contractor because under that loan product, we had to have someone who was overseeing it for the government because it's a government loan. FHA, it's the federal housing, right? It might have been under Housing and Urban Development under HUD, but you don't have to qualify for those. You just have to find a house that qualifies for it. And then, or at least that's the way it was when we did it. I don't know. If there's anything super different, I'll try to remember to put it up on the screen for you. So I'm giving you the best information. I like to do that. I have a lot of fun researching. So when, we had the general contractor, we also had someone who was working on behalf of the government, making sure that everything got done when it was supposed to be done. It's also on our behalf if we had some kind of reluctant contractor or workers, but nobody was. Everybody was wonderful. The guy who was our contractor, Clark, was a good friend of Perry's, and Perry worked in flooring in a really big flooring company that got lots of local business, and he'd helped Clark establish his contracting business, giving him, some contacts. He knew Clark was a great contractor, and so he felt comfortable giving his name to people. So Clark really treated us well, but I'm sure he treated everybody, and if he's still doing it, still treats everybody the same way because he was just fantastic. So we ended up putting a little under about $20,000 into the house. And so with the 40 and the 20, we got this beautiful brand new everything house. And the disembodied voice put a lot of sweat equity into that house because he did a lot of the work himself. That's how we were able to do it so inexpensively. And it ended up being a $60,000 house, which even then was very affordable. We were able to pay it way down. And by the time we sold it, we had that money to save to put into this house later. Those are the two houses we've owned. We rented in Pennsylvania because we weren't going to be there for very long. I went to one of my graduate degrees at a university in Pennsylvania, and we rented there. So then we moved here and bought this house, and that's a whole different story, right? It's a whole nother Oprah, as we used to say. So, but when we were, all of that is to say, when we were picking out the paint for the contractor, he brought us some swatches, as you do. He had the books and the whatever, and he gave them to us, and we went to the car. He was like, take your time. Well, we were assuming that we needed to pick them out. Then we wanted the stuff done because this was the stuff that the disembodied voice wasn't going to paint, like the outside of the house and things like that. And so we went to the car and we sat there, and in 15 minutes, we chose all the colors for the house. Because that is how the disembodied voice and I are. We do not quibble over stuff. I'm not going to spend And for people who do, I think it's a wonderful thing that you take this much time to analyze. But it's just not in my or his personality to choose things over an extended period of time. That's why I only went to Lowe's to get these paint chips. And then what I did was I gave everything to the Disembodied Voice, the booklets and the paint chips. I gave everything to him, and I said, could you narrow this down to the ones that you think are possibilities? And the ones that you've just seen in this video are the ones he narrowed it down to. He's also an artist, so he understands color theory really well. He understands the way color interacts with light, because again, color is a property of light. And that, you know, it's going to look different depending on the light that it's under. That's why in the store they have the different lights you can put it under. And that's why it looks different probably every time you've looked at it in this video. So we chose those in like 15 minutes. And we went back to the contractor and went, okay, we're ready. And he was like, okay, well, do you have any idea about how long it'll take for not? We said, no, we're ready. Like, we've chosen the colors. And he started laughing and he went, you are the only couple I've ever worked with who did that quickly. And I said, yeah, it just took us this time to come back into the house and stuff. We really had it done probably in 5 minutes, because and that's one of the reasons I'm super comfortable with letting y'all make a choice, because once we narrow it down to things that would work in that room, I'm good. You pick, right? I'm okay with that. And I handed him to the Disembodied Voice and said, now narrow that down. And he did. He handed me back and I looked through him. I was like, oh, nice, pretty, 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 like that, like that, like that. Looks good. Okay. And he was like, so you don't want to look at any of the other ones? I'm like, nope, we're good. We got several choices. I didn't know till I counted it today. It was 10. We got 10 choices, so we're good. People can pick from that. And they are, as I said earlier, all relatively within the same family, but some of them are much darker than others. And so, like, if I put Snowbound, no, not Snowbound, if I put, you can really see the violet in the, upside down, in the Gentle Violet if I put it up next to Blue Kiss. So see, this one's more purple and this one's more blue, right? So again, I will have these in a list and I'll link them out to a website or more than one, but I'll have individual links like I do in my description to different places where you can go look at them yourself online and get a sense of them. Don't feel like you have to do that. If you have a gut feeling about one of these colors, just vote on it and know that we're going to be fine. I appreciate the care and concern. It means so much to me that y'all are participating in this, and it will be special to me because you chose it. That's why it will be special. It's just like things are special to me because people made them for me. I was just going through my drawers and I had these cards that my kids made for me for Mother's Day and birthday and Christmas. And then, you know, one of my students made me this card. So lovely. She made me this card that she gave me with some other things that she'd made and other of our student artists had made. So, I mean, this means the world to me, and it means the world to me that you chose it. And that's a wonderful memory we can build together, which is important. It's important for us to have memories in our friendship, I think. I know, actually. So at any rate, those are our choices. I'm going to put a poll up however many ways I can, and I will do a short to tell you all the ways that you can go vote. Thank you so much again. I just love you so much. I really, really do. From my heart to yours. It's just overflowing to the point that I might get teary if I keep talking about it. You are so loved by so many, and I'm one of those people. So please do go in peace and love to serve others and pray for Ukraine.